Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to crochet these little monsters. I have a few quick disclaimers to get into before we get into the material list, so if you don't want to hear these, go ahead and skip forward to the next chapter. All those chapters at the bottom of the screen, you can go ahead and skip forward. The first disclaimer is that I crochet pretty fast. This is not a beginner tutorial. While beginners can absolutely crochet this pattern, it's really easy. Just keep in mind I won't be slowing down too much. I'll just be trying to keep a nice pace. Maybe in the future I will release a slower version of this, so if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. But for now, we will just start with intermediate style video. The next disclaimer is that this pattern is low sew. I guess it's not really a bad disclaimer, but I do embroider the mouth, so I will be showing you how to do that at the end of the video, so just be prepared for that. If you're interested in the written pattern, make sure to check it out. I have it linked in the description. It'll be in my coffee shop for sure, and maybe in some other places, but just head down there and all the links will be there. Now, for the material list, you're going to need these eyes. I actually found these at Walmart in the Halloween section. Let me find a package so I can show you. This is what the package looks like. So they're googly eye rings. They're only about $2 each, so they're not too bad, and there's 12 eyes in there. So they're not super expensive as far as specialty eyes go, and they're pretty sturdy. For the most part, they're not sharp in any way, so they're perfect for this project. Now, these eyes are crocheted directly in, so there's no sewing them in, so they'll be nice and secure. The only way a kid would be able to get these off is if they've snapped it in half. For the most part, they are pretty safe. For this pattern, I'm using a size 6 Chanel yarn. This yarn right here. I'm dealing with a serious case of yarn barf, so excuse me. But it's Loops and Threads Chanel Home Slim. You will also need some size 4 yarn for the mouth, so I'll be using some Toucan Fine. I get this from Hobby or Hooby, however you pronounce it, and then some Skinny Chanel in white for the mouth. For crochet hooks, I am using a 5mm, so I'm doing nice and tight stitches. If you need to adjust the hook size, definitely go ahead and do that. I have a pair of scissors and a sewing needle. I'm actually going to use 2 of them. Let me find them real quick. There we are. So I will be using this little metal one to embroider the mouth. This one is bent because I rolled it over with my desk chair, but you can probably find something similar to this as well. And then I'll be using a plastic needle to close the bottom hole up. If you need a stitch marker, go ahead and grab one. I will not be using one, but if you need one, there's no issue. Just go ahead and place it at the end of the round for every round. This is future me reporting in that you will also need some stuffing for your little monsters, because somehow I always forget to add that to the material list. But back to the video. So now we're going to begin our little monsters. Every time I start with Chanel yarn, I actually use some size 4 yarn to start the magic ring. So for this, I'll just be using a little bit of the Skinny Chanel. Go ahead and start your magic ring, put it on your hook, and then join your yarn, chain 1. And for that first round, we're going to single crochet 6 times. Now go ahead and use whatever method works best for you. If you use the chain 2 method, use that, or the magic ring without any Chanel yarn, go ahead and use that as well. And once your magic ring is finished, go ahead and close it up. And now this next round is when we're going to join the eyes on. So this whole process is a little bit of a tight squeeze, so just be prepared for that, but it's not too bad. It's definitely much easier to show it to you on video. So for the next stitch, we're going to put 3 single crochets into that stitch. So 3 single crochets into that first stitch of the round. And now what I'm going to do is actually secure my magic ring first. So whether you use the extra yarn for your magic ring or the chain 2 method, I recommend tying a couple knots on the back just so that the chain 2 method or the magic ring can't come undone very easily. And once you have a few nice tight knots, now we're going to work on adding the eyes. So pick up your eye, and you want the eyes to be facing away from your hook or from the start of your round. And you're going to slide it on to the ring, just like that. So now we're going to actually skip the stitch. You can pull the eye back at this point and see this is my single crochet, this is the next stitch, and then this is the next stitch we're going to be crocheting into. And in that stitch we're going to single crochet 3 times, just like we did the last stitch. And then in that next stitch, we will also single crochet 3 times. So now we're going to move the eye, and we're going to make sure that it stays over across the first round. I don't know if that makes sense, but just pull it around and make sure it's sitting like so. And then in that last stitch, so we're going to skip that stitch the eye is sitting on and go into the next stitch, and we're going to single crochet into that stitch 3 times as well. So at this point I recommend counting your stitches. You should have 12 and your eye should be sitting like this. So the magic ring or your first round is sitting between the eyes, and at this point you're not going to be able to get the eye out. So go ahead and count your stitches. You should have 12, as I do. And now for the next round, we are going to increase and then single crochet and repeat that 6 times or all the way around. And now this round is a little bit hard to crochet as well because you're crocheting around the eyes, but it's not too bad. You just gotta manipulate them a little bit. And there we are, that third round is finished. So now we're going to go ahead and single crochet in each stitch around. And there's the end of that round. So you can kind of see the top of the head starting to take shape. So now we're going to do the next round where we're going to put our first set of legs. So go ahead and single crochet 5 times. Now this round is where you're going to have to adjust the bobbles. So for this first round, there's going to be 5 stitches between the bobbles. And for this, I'm actually going to need to crochet 1 more. So I'm going to single crochet 6 total, and then we will bobble. So I just like to put my fingers where the bobbles would go, and you can see there's 5 stitches between, and I can see that that looks a little bit more even than the original. So go ahead and make your bobble. You're going to double crochet. You're going to make 5 incomplete double crochets. So you should have 6 loops on your hook when you're finished. And then go ahead and pull through all of those loops and single crochet 5. Now you're going to go ahead and bobble again into that next stitch, again with 5 incomplete double crochets and 6 loops on your hook. And then you're going to single crochet in the remaining stitches. For me, there should be 5 stitches left. And there we go, that's the end of the round with the arms. For this next round, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around. There's that single crochet round finished. So now we're going to do the next leg round. So you're going to go ahead and single crochet 7. If you single crochet at 6, then you're going to be single crocheting 7. You want your leg bobble to be 1 stitch away from the original bobbles. So if you had to adjust the bobbles, that's where you want that leg to sit, somewhat inside the arm round. So go ahead and bobble with 5 incomplete double crochets, 6 loops on your hook. And now you're going to single crochet 4. And then you're going to add your next bobble. Now this bobble will be on top of the other one because of the way the crochet sits. You kind of come in a little bit. And now single crochet in your remaining stitches. For me, this is 5 single crochet stitches. And here's the end of that round with the bobbles, the second set of bobbles. Now we're going to decrease single crochet 1 and repeat that 6 times or all the way around. Now we're going to go ahead and start stuffing our little monsters. So I like to stuff now and after the next round, but feel free to stuff as you need. For stuffing, I'm just using some polyester fiber fill. You can get it from most places. I get mine from Walmart because it's a little cheaper than the craft stores, unless the craft stores are on sale. So I'm gonna go ahead and stuff it just a bit here and then finish stuffing it after the next round. But like I said, stuff it as much as you need. For this next round, we're just going to decrease 6 times. And once you've come all the way around, go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1 and fasten off. You just need a length of yarn long enough to sew that bottom hole shut. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish stuffing this before closing it up. I think that is pretty well stuffed. So now I'm going to go ahead and close this bottom hole up. So if you're using Chanel yarn, I highly recommend using a plastic needle when you're sewing with it because it helps keep the yarn intact a little bit longer than a metal needle would. So go ahead and collect all the front loops and then pull tight once you come all the way around. And now I'm going to tie a little knot here just to secure this end, make sure it can't come loose very quickly. So to do this, I just pick up a loop from somewhere inside the fabric and tuck that tail into that loop, just so it can't come loose very easily. And then I will weave in this end 2 or 3 times and then tuck the rest of it in with my scissors. That way I don't have any scrap yarn that's pretty much useless besides stuffing. So here we go. And then I take my scissors and I stuff the rest of it in. Be careful if you do decide to do this because the scissors can cut your yarn. So just be careful how you use the scissors and don't go too crazy. So there is our monster complete. Now you could leave it like this, but I just love giving it a little mouth. I think that completes the look. So the way we do this is with our size 4 black yarn. Now you can use acrylic for this, or cotton even. Just keep in mind that the yarn will turn a little fluffy over time. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something I like to avoid by using the Chanel yarn instead. You could also make the mouths out of different colors other than black. So I'm just going to stick my needle in any random place, and then I'm going to come out in the center 2 stitches of the monster. Now it looks like mine it might be a little bit off, which I honestly don't have an issue with. So you're going to insert your needle through the 3rd and 4th round of your monster. You're going to pull up a nice length of yarn, and then you're going to go across 2 stitches. So here's 1 and here's 2, and we're just going to make a bunch of loops across this little section here until you get the size of the mouth you want. You could always leave it as a smile as well and not make a open mouth like I will be doing. So just really be creative here and have fun with your mouth shapes, whether it's grumpy or happy or whatever you'd want to do. So this looks about good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this end back up to the other end, and then we're just gonna drop it here for now. Before moving on, I'm gonna pick the stuffing that stuck to this yarn out. I recommend doing this just to make your dolls look a little bit more clean and everything. It's gonna happen no matter what yarn you use too, so it's a good habit to have. There you go, that looks good. So now we're going to bring in a little bit of white and give it some teeth. So for the white, you're not gonna need nearly as much because we're just gonna be making 4 loops. So go ahead and thread your needle with the white. And on the opposite side of the head, just go ahead and bring a loop out. Now I like to do this just right in the middle of the mouth. I'm actually gonna start on the opposite side first. It's gonna be kind of hard to get your needle in through these stitches, so just have patience with it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap my needle around these stitches, not go through the purple part yet, or whatever body color you're using yet. And go ahead and pull tight, and then I'm gonna go through the actual body and out through the mouth again for the next set of fangs. Like I said, this can be a little tedious because we're working with some pretty small area, so just take your time with it. And also it doesn't really have to look perfect either because each of these is going to turn out unique anyway, so might as well not stress about it too much. And now I'm going to go ahead and repeat that, create a little loop, and then finally come back out to the other end with our last loop. You want to make sure you're pulling it pretty tight as well, just to keep the teeth nice and straight. I don't think straight's the right word, but pick that stuffing out if you have any. And now we're going to secure both of these with a couple of knots. Go ahead and cut your working yarn nice and short because we're not going to need any more of it. Just long enough so that you can tie a couple knots. And I'm going to go ahead and tie these 2 together and then weave them in. It does take a little bit longer to tuck it in that way, but at least you don't have any scraps floating around or things to throw away. But here's the little monster finished. Go ahead and adjust the mouth with your needle if you want to as well. Kind of move things around a little bit. And then your little monster is finished. So these guys work up pretty quickly, as you could probably tell, especially once you get the pattern memorized. It's not too hard of a pattern. I am hoping to release a couple more with these eyes, maybe a snail and a frog, stuff like that, but we'll see. These eyes definitely have a lot of potential, And I heard that a lot of you actually purchased them already before this tutorial even came out, so I appreciate each and every one of you and for trusting me to release the pattern even when it's not even filmed yet. Thank you all so much for watching to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in the written pattern, make sure to check it out. It's going to be in my coffee shop for sure, and maybe in some other places. I'll have all the links in the description for you, so just go ahead and check it out. But other than that, we're finished. I hope you enjoyed making your own little monsters. I think these will do pretty well for market prep, but we'll see. I appreciate each and every one of you, your support and everything, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. It's probably gonna be a market vlog because that's what I do now, tutorials and market vlogs, but I will definitely see you then. Bye!